fellow gamers from around the world. This is Archimedes, the video game enthusiast from Germany, with another prediction video. Okay guys, it's only 2 weeks, I repeat, 2 weeks until we get our hands on the next Xbox consoles, and only a few days later, depending on where you live, on the PlayStation 5. And with that, the gaming insanity that is November 2020 is upon us. We have to choose in between so many incredible games that it feels impossible to handle it. We get this banger at launch, just a few days later this one, and on November 19th the gaming world will stop cause we get to play this. Wait, there must be a mistake. I fixed it. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I have no idea how I can play all those games and how I will choose in between them. First world problems. And if that wasn't enough, it is heavily rumored that Xbox has one event coming before the launch on November 10th with even more announcements. And those who follow my channel know that I've been saying it for a while now, that Microsoft wants the hype at the maximum when the consoles actually come into stores. And that's why we should expect in the 2 weeks before launch many news to drop. And the latest rumors say that on November 9th, Microsoft will have their yearly XO event, X020. And with my luck, I bet by the time this video is done editing and uploaded, they already have announced it. So one day before the consoles come out, Microsoft apparently has a 90 to 100 minute showcase to get us gamers even more excited for next gen, if that's even possible. And yeah, it is a rumor, but I also think that it only makes sense. And so, that is why in this video we are going to discuss what is it that Microsoft has left to announce so close before launch. Which games will they announce and showcase? And what about new studio acquisitions? And of course I'll sprinkle in some speculations from my side. But before we go through all of that, I want to ask you for a favor. I put a lot of work into my videos and I try to grow my channel, so if you think you are enjoying what you see, then please consider to hit the like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to not miss out on future content. All of this does not cost you anything and is completely anonymous by the way, but it helps me more than you think. And if you know someone who would enjoy this kind of content, please feel free to share it out. I really do appreciate all the support. And now let's dive into what Microsoft has left to announce in November. Okay, probably many of you have already heard about some cryptic tweets from Xbox New Zealand, and some wild speculations have been out there on social media channels. That's why I want to start with those rumors and give my thoughts on how the event will take place. See, Xbox New Zealand has tweeted out that we all should tune in on November 9th, 11 PM New Zealand time. That is 1 hour before the console launches in the very first market, New Zealand, making this a perfect launch event, and that's exactly what it is, a New Zealand launch event. The Xbox Mexico channel has also teased a launch event, but at a different time. So if this would have been a global event, all the other Xbox channels would have also teased this at the same time. So expect some other launch events to be announced that are specialized for the region you live in. But nevertheless, I am sure Microsoft will have an XO event in November, because having that event in December would be too close to the Game Awards. Okay, but what is it that we can expect from Microsoft to be announced and shown in a November event? Well, there's the obvious elephant in the room, and that is gameplay. And yeah, by now Microsoft has shown a couple of games running on the Xbox Series X, but most of those games are either back-compat games, already released games that get an enhancement patch, or third-party games. But what everyone wants to see is first-party content running on the Xbox Series consoles. And only last week I made a big video about the roadmap of the first-party exclusives games coming to the Xbox ecosystem. And even though I left a ton out, I went into 21 of those titles. So Microsoft has a ton of games in the making, obviously, because they have 23 studios now. And I know that we are living in unprecedented times that make it more difficult to put together trailers with the whole working from home situation. But it is hard for me to believe that from 23 studios, which have something in between 35 to 40 games in the making right now, nothing is in a presentable state. And that is why I expect Microsoft to showcase at least 3 to 5 first-party games. The first one I think they will show off is Hellblade 2, which is already more than 3 years in development. And yeah, I have heard it many times now that this game is running in the Unreal Engine 5 and that the UE5 won't be released before 21 to developers. And that is true. Unreal Engine 5 will be released in early 21 to developers developers, but the game is currently developed in Unreal Engine 4, obviously, and then it will be ported over to Unreal Engine 5. And that goes, by the way, not just for Hellblade 2, but for all the games from the Xbox Game Studios that run in the Unreal Engine. And because Unreal Engine 4 and 5 are compatible, the porting over can be done relatively quickly. In addition to that, rumors are out there that a new trailer is already done for Hellblade 2, and I am very confident that Microsoft will showcase this game running on the Xbox Series X. Another game that might be shown off is Fable. And yeah, before you judge me, I know the game won't be out before at least 2022, but if you go back and look for the very first rumors of that game, they are from early 2017. So that game is now something like 3 years and 10 months in development. And I would say that after this time, Playground Games should have something they can show off. Okay, and I think it is safe to say that we get to see gameplay for Psychonauts 2. That game is probably long overdue, and to be frank, I am a little surprised that this is not a launch game for the Xbox Series consoles. The game from Double Fine, it has been shown off for quite a while now, and maybe, and this is just me speculating out in the wild, Microsoft will announce this game on November 9th as a surprise launch title. Okay, and the fourth game I think they will show off is Forza Motorsport. Yes, they have used the marketing phrase "it's early in development" for that game. But that is a marketing phrase. The developer Turn 10 used to develop a new Forza game in 2 years. Now, it has been already 3 years for them to work on the new Forza. So I don't know if early in development is the correct phrase, but we know that they have developed a completely new engine. So if Forza will be released in 2021, that is a 4-year development cycle, and that is double the time that they have usually for a new Forza game. So I think this game is at least ready to be shown in action. Well, and then it is time for them to announce some new games, like the game from the Initiative. This studio was founded to create a quadruple A experience, and rumors are out there that this game might be a Perfect Dark reboot, or at least set in a Perfect Dark universe. Others say it will be a Prince of Persia setting, but whatever it is already in a playable state. A while back, head of Xbox Phil Spencer went to the studio and played the game, and only recently Drew Murray, the design director of the Initiative, let his daughter play the game, and he tweeted about this. Well, and I have to be frank, I'm a bit jealous of that girl, so let's hope that Microsoft will show off the game to the world, because this would have exactly the impact and hype they need one day before the consoles are released. But given the track record of Xbox, I would expect to see this game announced in an in-engine trailer, but not with gameplay. Nevertheless, I'm incredibly excited to see what the Initiative is working on. Okay, and then there are of course all the games from the ZeniMax and Bethesda studios that now belong to the Xbox Game Studios. The problem for Microsoft to show off those games is that the deal is not officially sealed. Rumors have it that the deal will be finalized in February 21, so I don't know if they can show off the games like Starfield and Wolfenstein 3, etc, etc. But if they decide to show off a game, it will be most likely Starfield. Basically every Microsoft executive has been talking about Starfield when they talked about the Bethesda deal. And I still think that there is a realistic chance that Starfield, the new AAA RPG from Todd Howard, is a 21 release. So take Starfield with a big maybe. What is more likely to be shown, or at least teased, is the new game from In Exile, which was already confirmed to be a AAA RPG running in the Unreal Engine 5. And if it's not the In Exile game that will be teased, it may be the game from Compulsion, makers of We Happy Few. And like I said in my last video, this is rumored to be an Uncharted meets Bioshock type of game. Well, there are a bunch of other announced first-party games like State of Decay 3 and my most anticipated game Avowed, but I don't think that they will show those games in November. Okay, but besides gameplay and game announcements, Microsoft will talk about other things during the rumored November showcase. Of course, you will hear a lot of talk about how backcompat works under the Xbox Series X, and having all these games from the Xbox One, many from the Xbox 360 and OG Xbox era on the new consoles means that this is the biggest launch lineup in history. And I know that this statement is controversial because technically it's correct, but there is as of today no first party game launching with the console since Halo got delayed. This doesn't mean that there won't be enough games for us to play, cause like I said in the beginning of the video, November is going to be crazy. But Microsoft will also focus a bit on Game Pass, and I think that we will get the announcement of a couple of games coming to Game Pass at launch of the Xbox Series consoles. And I'm thinking here about a bunch of Bethesda games. For instance, Skyrim, the Wolfenstein series, The Evil Within 1 and 2, the Dishonored series, etc, etc. Okay, and then I want to talk about possible studio acquisitions that might be announced during the event. Ever since Bethesda joined the Xbox Game Studios, people have been going crazy with the hope of Xbox announcing even more studios being added to the realm. And yeah, CEO of Microsoft Satya Nadella has said that they are not done with acquisitions, so let's speculate here a little bit. The big rumor out there is that Microsoft might take over Valve. Let me elaborate real quick. Gabe Newell, CEO of Valve, apparently wants to move to New Zealand, and with all the New Zealand tweets that I have been talking about at the very beginning of the video, people think this is more or less of a confirmation. But take this with a big grain of salt. I don't think that the New Zealand tweets are related to a takeover from Microsoft. After the Bethesda deal, I think nothing is out of the possible, and it would definitely make sense for Microsoft to acquire Steam. But I think if there is something to this rumor, it is more like a collaboration in between Valve and Microsoft. For instance, Microsoft will bring Game Pass into Steam or something like that. But whatever it is, don't expect that announcement at the November event. The November event is dedicated to the console launch, not to PC announcements. Since Jeff Keighley, the moderator of the Video Game Awards in December, recently announced that he was in a call with Gabe Newell and Phil Spencer, I think if we get an announcement related to Valve, it will be at the Game Awards in December. So if Microsoft will announce a new studio acquisition, I think it won't be a publisher, but more like a single studio, like for instance a Sobo or a rumored Polish studio like People Can Fly or Techland. And speaking of Techland, their game Dying Light 2 has been announced like forever ago, and it got suspiciously quiet about it. Since I expect at least a couple of third-party announcements during that November event, I think Dying Light 2 might be one of the games that will be shown during the event. Another game that we haven't heard anything about since the Xbox E3 2019 is Elden Ring. Since it is From Software who develops that game, we can expect a Souls-like game in a new universe. And the mastermind behind Game of Thrones, George R.R. Martin, is involved in scripting this game. Let's hope we see an update during the event. Well, and then there is the rumor out there that EA has an unannounced game for the event that is not Star Wars, but we will see about that. Of course, there are other third-party games that might be shown during the event, like for instance Far Cry 6, which is scheduled for Spring 21 and we haven't seen anything from the game so far. Maybe the unannounced but heavily rumored and leaked Mass Effect trilogy will be shown, and highly unlikely but a secret wish from me would be the new game from Rocksteady, Justice League. Okay, but I want to come to an end here. You see that Microsoft has a ton left to announce and show, so a November event right before the launch of the consoles would definitely make sense. And yeah, I have seen many statements out there that under the worldwide circumstances it is difficult for Microsoft to capture gameplay. But then Sony has also shown 4 games with gameplay running on their new console, and other developers have also been able to show off gameplay. And that is why I'm very positive and have no doubt that Microsoft will use the November event to show off at least a couple of games running on the new hardware. And bundled with all the other announcements I talked about, I couldn't be more excited for this probably really soon to be announced event. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button as well as the notification bell, and consider sharing this out to other gamers. I would greatly appreciate it. And let me know in the comments below, what do you think Microsoft will announce in November? Will they show off gameplay? And if so, for which games? And besides here on YouTube, you can also hit me up on Twitter, where I share a lot of opinions and gaming discussions. But for now, thank you very much for watching, I see you the next time, and game on!